Hello guys and welcome back. Today with the release of Planet Crafter to early access earlier this week, a game that we covered early on in the development, I thought we'd take a look and see what's changed and more importantly, whether it's worth a buy now that it's arrived on early access. Planet Crafter is a sci-fi survival game that brings something new to the genre, with the focus being the terraforming of a planet. And why would you want to terraform the planet? Well, you have no choice because it is your prison sentence, which gives the impetus a nice little storyline to it. Now the game itself is developed by Maiju Games, an indie dev team of 2, and though the game may not have the fancy graphics of a AAA game, they have managed to develop an incredible world that continues to evolve as the character progresses in their quest. And in order to progress, the player needs to construct a habitat suitable for a colony. Now this is done through seeding and heating the planet so that you can create the atmosphere that's needed for the world to breathe again. Prior to it hitting early access, the demo had us collecting all items by hand. This was monotonous after a while, though expected in the early stages of the game. However, with the late game, we now have ore extractors available, making the game less of a slog and more about the exploration and development of your little outpost. And since the demo, the team have also implemented meteor showers that regularly inundate your little patch of land with extra minerals. This is also really useful as it means you don't have to stray as far to collect materials once you've harvested everything surrounding you, but you will still be eventually straying far because the map actually seems so much larger now since the demo, and there is a variety of terrain, but it still seems very barren. I know our job is to terraform it. I'm just saying it is barren. And if you actually would like to see me attempt to survive this barren planet on hardcore, let me know in the comments below and perhaps we'll do a little let's play series of it. Now when it comes to exploring, the game scales as your equipment evolves, rewarding you for investing precious resources in crafting new equipment. And that has been made even better by the collection of microchips, which allow you to unlock new items to add to your player inventory, decreasing mining speed, or even unlocking accessories like the satisfactory blade runners that will allow you to run faster. Now there are also technological blueprints that are steadily unlocked through achieving the necessary requirements in terraformation, which means early game focus should really be on building a passive economy of oxygen, heat and pressure, but you quickly find that you need to explore in order to retrieve the more valuable resources, which will quickly scale that up. Now the game itself isn't particularly complicated. It's not a game that requires complex maths or puzzle solving, and though it is something that is appreciated when done right in games, this simplified approach that Maiju Games has to their game allows you to really relax and enjoy a much more chilled time gaming. That is, unless you start to run out of oxygen, of course, where you'll slowly start to drift out of consciousness, which starts to get a little stressful if you're running back to the base. But even then, playing on the standard or intense difficulty of the game, you will only lose some or all of your inventory. If that's not for you though, you can play it on the relaxing difficulty, which means death has no negative connotations. You just respawn. Or if you're someone who really enjoys the challenge, then there is hardcore, which will delete your whole save upon death. Each difficulty is definitely best suited for a different player and is a warm welcome addition to the game, adding a little bit more playability to it with it being quite simple. Now another simple but nice addition is the startup in different spawn locations. Though there are 3 dedicated spawn locations, the standard, Grand Rift and Sand Falls, you can also choose random, which will leave you starting anywhere within the world and could add extra difficulty. Imagine starting somewhere like the Uranium Cave. And you'll be surprised how often you find yourself in this dire circumstances. Exploration is a huge part of the game. Some resources can only be found in some areas, and this will leave you constructing outposts and stocking oxygen and water for expeditions, and finding crashed sites filled with resources actually bring you a lot of cool stuff. For example, seeds, which will allow you to develop your own little greenhouse of plants, as well as other items such as uranium rods, which will allow you to construct power plants. Now, the build system has plenty to play about with, though on the whole, coming from a game like Satisfactory, it does leave me wanting a lot more. That being said, I do know lots of people who have compared it to Subnautica and are genuinely very happy with the build options that are available, whether that's for decoration purposes or out of design for furthering the objectives of the game, the terraforming. Now, one of the best additions to Planet Crafter is that you can see the transformation of the planet. As you progress, water will start to seep through the ground, so don't place your base in the lowest ravine unless you want it to be flooded. Not that there's a negative connotation with that, you can just rebuild it elsewhere. The skies will also turn blue, and you'll even be able to grow plants, creating a tropical paradise, and knowing that all that is down to you and your hard work is actually very rewarding. That being said, it's easy to see why some people might be turned off by the first impressions of being stranded on a plain desert world. A graphics overhaul would definitely be great for this game, but it isn't necessary if you can see past its bright orange and red tinted filter. The early game feels a little bit grindy collecting items, and this returns later on when you're building multiple buildings of the same items in order to achieve the terraformation. But that can be overlooked when you can see how far two developers have come with this game. Honestly, I'm interested in seeing how this develops further as it edges closer to full release, especially when they announce the roadmap so that we can see what else they have planned for the game. And I'd certainly love to see more automation for one, but who knows if that'll come. Now, there are a few other suggestions that I think would go down within the community, but first and foremost, the biggest one for me is having a little patch to building and crafting so that when you're building an item or an item is being crafted, that it isn't removed from being active once you've built it or crafted it. I hate having to reopen the build tab or crafting bench so that I can create another solar panel or oxygen bottle. If I have the resources, I would just love for the game to let me choose to close the tab when I want to. It's just a little pet peeve. Either way, this is a great little game to sink your teeth into if you're searching for something that will entertain you whilst you wait for Satisfactory's next update or a new survival game to keep you out of trouble. And whilst it's on sale until the 7th of April, why not pick it up and give it a go? If you don't enjoy it, you can always get a refund. Anyway though, that's all we have time for in this video. If you did like the video, please hit the thumbs up, and if you want to see more, why not subscribe or check out my terrible leadership skills in Timberborn, which was a tragedy waiting to happen. Also, let me know if you've got this or are looking to get this game in the comments. Until next time, thank you so much to all of our amazing supporters, most notably our Solar Eclipse patrons, the Calamity, Cerebral Tag, and James Irwin and Jerry 2, as well as our Lunas, Dixie Chris, Lord of July, and Ben, and our Blood Moon, Papa Snoozy. Anyway guys, until next time, as always, ciao for now.